Okay, everybody, I'm going to go over go over mean arterial pressure, just the mathematics of it, how to figure it out. Okay, so mean arterial pressure sounds like what it says. It's the mean pressure in your arterioles, right? But in order to figure it out, it isn't a simple average. Usually the mean means average. It's not a simple average, and that's because of the way the heart acts. Remember, pressure, most of it comes from the forces of the heart, right? And so when you're given a blood pressure, let's say our blood pressure is 120 over 80, right? Remember that the top number is the systolic pressure, and the bottom number is the diastolic pressure. That relates to the heart, because when the heart is in systole, and mainly we refer to ventricular systole, because that's the biggest force of the heart, right? To push blood out into either the pulmonary or the systemic circuit, right? So that's when the heart ventricles are contracting, and that's the biggest portion of the heart. So that's the highest pressure. So that's why that's our top number, systolic pressure. And then when the heart, though, it relaxes, okay, once it relaxes, the pressure is less, right? Because the pressure of the heart is gone, but there's recoil of the arteries and things, and that's why we still have some pressure. But again, it's lower because the pressure of the heart is gone. So here I put 80, okay? So the mean arterial pressure, though, is related to these two numbers. And so the thing to remember is when our heart is relaxing, we're in diastole twice as long as we're in systole. Think about it, your heart contracts, relax, right? So we're actually in diastole twice as long as systole. So when we want to find the mean, we have to take into consideration that this value, the diastolic, is actually twice the value of the systolic. So that's what we can do. This is how I like to figure it out. I take 2 times the diastolic pressure, put some parentheses around there, because once I get that number, then I add the systolic pressure and I divide it by 3, right? Because when you get an average, you're dividing by the number of values you have. Well, here I have 3 values. I have 1 systolic, 1 diastolic, and another diastolic, right? There's 2. So if I plug in my 120 over 80, okay, so what that means is I have 2 times 80, because that's my diastolic pressure, plus 120. So let's work with that first. I'm not going to worry about the divided by 3 yet. So 2 times 180 is 160. Okay, plus, I'm going to put it down here, 120. Here's my 120. And now I have 280. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 2. So 280, but now I have to divide that by 3. Okay, so yes, you can do this without a calculator. This is simple. It's actually simple division. You do 3 divided, 280 is divided by 3, right? So now I just step through. Well, 3 doesn't go into 2, that's too small. So I can go to the next number. 3 goes into 28, that goes in 9 times. It doesn't equal 28, it equals 27. So I'm going to subtract 27 from 28, right? And I get 1, but I'm still not done. I have another number here. I'm going to carry this 0 down. Now 3 goes into 10 how many times? It goes in 3 times. I think most of you, you're good with this. It's just you seem to freeze up when you have a decimal point. Okay, let's finish though. 3 times 3 is 9, right? That's 1. This is where you put your decimal point in, because I need another number here. So if I put a decimal, then I can put a 0 there and I can carry the 0 down. But if I put a decimal here, I have to put it up here. So now 3 goes into 10 3 times, I put that after the decimal. And I can quickly see this is going to end up being the same thing over and over. I could add another 0 and carry it down. I already did. Whoops. Sorry about that. I already carried my 0 down. So the more you do this, then this becomes automatic, right? So 9.333 would go on forever. So you can say then the mean arterial pressure of this person whose blood pressure is 120 over 80, it's 93.3. Okay, we'll do another one. Let's say your blood pressure is 110 over what? 65. Okay, so again, I'm going to remind myself I need 2 times the diastolic plus systolic, and then I'm going to divide all of that by 3. So 2 times the diastolic, 2 times 65, and I'm going to add 110 to that. So 2 times 65 is, let's see, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12, but I carried a 130 plus 110. Okay, so if I want to, I can just set it up this way. 130 plus 110 is 420. Okay, so now I got to divide that by 3. So I'm going to go 3 goes into 2, excuse me. Erase that. Goes into 240. So 3 goes into 24, 8 times 24. This one ended up nice. 0, 0. So 80, and I don't have to do a decimal point because 0 is always going to be 0. So the mean arterial pressure for somebody who has a blood pressure of 110 over 65 is 80. Okay, that was a nice, easy one. What if we do 115 over 70? Okay, so go back up here, 2 times the diastolic. So 2 times 70 is 140. I'm going to add the systolic, and I get 5, 5, 255. I have to divide this by 3. And now I get 3 goes into 2, 5, 5. 3 goes into 25 8 times, because 8 times 3 is 24. So I subtract that, I get 1. I'm going to carry the 5 down. Oh, a nice, easy one again. 3 goes into 15. 3 goes into 15, sorry, 5 times. So my mean arterial pressure is 85 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so we can see that as pressure changes, here's my blood pressure was 120 over 80. My mean arterial pressure was 93. So this is the pressure that's perfusing blood toward the periphery, toward your tissues, right? Oops. Oh, I'm just sorry, I'm trying to just scroll this. There we go. Okay, then when we said it was 110 over 65, it also lowered. It's 80, right? So now we're seeing that less blood is getting to the tissues. This is still safe, especially if you're an athlete. You might have a good mean arterial pressure like that. 115 over 70, it's 85, so it's right in the middle. So some of these you can start to predict. I'm not going to give you all these because I do want you to figure some out on the test. But this is how you work out the math without a calculator. I hope that helps.